local station. News 4 Jax starts now.
Election Day 2014 now begins its final hour. The campaigning continues 1 hour before precincts close their doors. Voters deciding the future of medical marijuana here in Florida. Governor Scott making one last stop here in Jacksonville as he seeks re-election.
There's people from all over the country that have come in to try to make sure we win, because they know how important this race is.
And a final message from the man looking to take back his old job, former Governor Charlie Crist.
But money can't buy the election. And I think that what people want to do is get out and vote.
By one estimate, Rick Scott and Charlie Crist have spent a staggering $200 million to get your vote.
Right now, the last-minute crowd is taking their turn to the polling places all over Florida and Georgia. The turnout so far here in Duval County, 44%. We expect to have the first returns for you right after 7 o'clock. News 4 Jax has reporters all across the state covering the big races and the polling places county by county. We begin with Channel 4's Kent Justice, who's joining us live from Bonita Springs, where Governor Scott will end his campaign tonight, and watch the results. Kent?
News 4 Jax starts right now with a breaking news alert.
An intense crime scene lasting about 8 hours in northwest Jacksonville. An officer using his taser 3 times before shooting a domestic violence suspect.
Again, it should be noted that this subject who was involved in this had multiple opportunities to comply.
Protesters and family members filled with anger and confusion gathered at the scene. That crowd included the man's girlfriend.
We were in a verbal altercation. Well, we were not. There was no hands being put on anybody.
Police identified the man a Jacksonville police officer shot as 22-year-old Devontae Jones. He was in critical but stable condition at UF Health Jacksonville. Less than 10 minutes ago, his family has reached out to us and tells us that he's stable and sitting up and asking to see his kids. Police say they were called to the Cleveland Arms apartment complex early this morning. Once the responding officers got inside the apartment complex, they say they found Jones strangling a woman. News 4 Jax spoke with that woman a short time ago, and you just heard she says she was not strangled. Meanwhile, people protesting the police shooting lined the streets and held signs chanting. And we're covering this from all angles tonight with several crews at the scene. We begin now with Channel 4's Ashley Harding with exactly what started this situation. Ashley?
States of emergencies in place all across the Northeast. A life-threatening and historic snowstorm bearing down tonight. People being warned to stay home and avoid travel. They're rushing for food, packing grocery stores like this New York Whole Foods. Authorities warn they could be without power for several days.
After Sandy, we couldn't get one. We had no power for 12 days, so I got a generator right after that. I'm not going through it again.
Powerful images, babies crying, thousands of people making a mad dash through a police line, fleeing war, torn Syria. The crisis sparking global attention. What role the U.S. has in helping the refugees?
And we've been following major breaking news from the National Transportation Safety Board tonight. We're hearing from families of the El Faro victims after the agency tells us it's found wreckage believed to be the missing ship El Faro. We first alerted our viewers and the families through our News 4 Jax push alert sent out at 9:17 this evening. A search team on board the USNS Apache made the discovery around 1:30 this afternoon using sophisticated sonar equipment. The Jacksonville-based freighter sank October 1st in the face of Hurricane Joaquin with 33 crew members on board. The NTSB says the vessel was located at a depth of about 15,000 feet in the vicinity of the last known location. Experts will have to confirm the wreckage is in fact that of El Faro. That process could begin as early as tomorrow. Channel 4's Jim Piggott has been speaking with some of the families about this major news. He joins us live in the newsroom with reaction. Jim.
Channel 4's Chris Parento is joining us live from downtown with more on how the new sheriff plans to handle the transition. Chris?
The new sheriff is here tonight at this City Hall open house and art walk event. He's actually just walking outside right now. Sheriff, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You talked today about unity and unity needed in the city. Talk about why that's so important for you.
Listen, anything that we do in Jacksonville, we've got to have the community support behind us, anything we do. So we've got to work to build that every day, and we're going to work on that. I think from where we're standing today, we've got a good relationship with the community, but again, we've got to improve it, and we've got to continue to work on it. And especially with the national narrative going on, things happen in other parts of the country, we've got to really, talk about what's good about Jacksonville, what's good about our relationship with the community in Jacksonville, and again, work on it every day.
That local breaking news alert is in Arlington, just off Fort Caroline Road. Firefighters at the scene of a house fire on Cherokee Villa Lane. You're looking live at the scene right now. JFRD says they responded to flames that were coming from the roof. Take a look at this video captured by a viewer showing the home engulfed in flames. Firefighters had to pull back because of the heavy fire. We're told the roof has partially collapsed. The homeowner says 6 people were inside watching the Florida-Georgia game when they noticed the fire. Everyone made it out safely. The fire is now out. We'll continue to monitor this local breaking news alert and update you on news4jax.com.
On News 4 Jax investigation tonight into the living conditions at Eureka Gardens. For the first time, we're hearing from the owner of the troubled apartment complex about the existing living conditions and health concerns.
I apologize. I regret it, and I'm sorry. And I'm the owner, and it's on my watch, and I take responsibility for it. But I'm making the changes and adjustments now.
Weeks after our investigation of Eureka Gardens began, we are now able to ask the owner, Reverend Richard Hamlet, questions face-to-face.
He's here in Jacksonville until Thursday to meet with local leaders about the conditions at Eureka Gardens. He was at City Hall this morning for a meeting with HUD, a city councilman, and Congresswoman Corrine Brown as well. We were not allowed in that meeting, despite it being in a public room at City Hall. The News 4 Jax investigators are staying on top of this story. Jim Piggott was there as Reverend Hamlet's tenants met with him this afternoon. First, let's go to Tarek Miner, though, who was able to ask Hamlet for answers to the many questions about his ownership of the complex. Tarek.
Here's a recap of all the big developments today concerning Eureka Gardens. The owner, Reverend Richard Hamlet, is here in town. Will be here until Thursday. Today, he met at City Hall with HUD officials, a member of the City Council, the Fire Department, and Congresswoman Corrine Brown about remedying the issues that residents say have been plaguing them there for years. He apologized for the gas leak that sent 4 people to the hospital last week. He is committed to immediate air quality testing and mold testing for all 400 apartments, a moratorium for 30 days on the 10-day eviction warnings that the management company has been sending. He also agreed to reimburse all of the tenants $50 for having their air conditioners repaired by an unlicensed contractor. And he will reimburse the city for hazmat, fire department callouts, and paramedic transports. Our News 4 Jax investigation of Eureka Gardens continues right now on news4jax.com. We posted our entire interview with Reverend Hamlet and the entire interview with Congresswoman Brown. Just look for the links under Top Stories.
Now, a News 4 Jax investigation reveals a report filed in July says the home where a 4-year-old girl drowned this weekend had been cited by code enforcement. The complainant told the city the pool in the backyard at this home on Cedar Oaks Drive is, quote, unsanitary, and that there are dead dogs in the pool. The last time the city checked on the home was 10 days ago. The report says the violations were not corrected, but have until April 21st, 2016 to fix the problems. Well, neighbors say the swimming pool where 4-year-old Alana Scott drowned yesterday afternoon has been a problem for years. One of the citations we found says, quote, water clarity and quality is a threat to or endangerment to public health and safety due to lack of visibility of the main drain gate. The police report says the little girl's grandmother reported she was missing for about 5 minutes and feared she may be in the pool. When rescuers arrived, they jumped into the pool to search for the child and found her, but it was too late. Alana's parents reached out to us and said she was the youngest of their 3 children. The family has set up a GoFundMe account for Alana's funeral expenses. Go to news4jax.com if you would like to contribute.
Split decision. Demonstrators taking to downtown streets just moments after Michael Dunn is found guilty on 4 of 5 counts in the shooting death of Jordan Davis. In that case, well, these protesters calling for State Attorney Angela Corey's resignation.
We've asked for justice, and we haven't got fulfilled justice in which we deserve in this community.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Michael Dunn's fate sealed after 4 days and more than 30 hours of jury deliberations. The group of 7 women and 5 men hand down a split verdict.
Just before 7 this evening, the jury told Judge Russell Healy they were hopelessly deadlocked on the first-degree murder charge, and a mistrial was declared on that 1 count. However, the jury did find Dunn guilty on 3 counts of attempted second-degree murder and guilty of shooting into an occupied vehicle. Shortly before the verdicts were read, Judge Healy thanked the jury for their tireless deliberations, saying he couldn't be more proud of these folks and the work that they have done.
And we're covering all the post-verdict reaction from every angle tonight. We also hear from Dunn's attorney, Corey Strolla, on how the Dunn family is doing this evening. And the latest on a heated crowd of demonstrators.
First, we go to Channel 4's Vic Micolucci, who has much more on the emotional reaction from Jordan Davis's parents just minutes after that verdict was announced. Vic.
South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley says what thousands of residents are dealing with is monumental. She called it a 1,000-year level of rain, meaning that amount of rainfall in South Carolina is 1 in 1,000 chance of happening any given year. Heartbreaking images coming out of the Carolinas today. Take a look. You can see a drone captured these images over Charleston. Neighborhoods covered with water, 24 inches of rain so far this weekend in some areas. Emergency workers using boats to rescue stranded motorists and people trapped in their homes. 5 people now dead from weather-related incidents.
We want to know what you say. Make sure you check out whether or not the shipyard's plan will become a reality. That's the question we're asking you. Head to our website, news4jax.com/yousay to vote.
Now, you can also vote by launching the News4Jax app on your Android or Apple smartphone or tablet. Then click the menu icon and select You Say Voting. We'll have the results coming up at 6.
I'm Channel 4's Heather Lee. The controversial bear hunt lasted just 2 days. It ended early. What people are saying, I've got their reaction coming up.
Still to come, a city council meeting in Minnesota interrupted by gunfire.
Get down, get down. Everybody get down.
The gunman sent council members scrambling. More on the 2 police officers who were hit by bullets ahead.
I'm Mike Vasalinda in the state capitol, where after 57% of voters said they wanted medical marijuana, one state senator wants to give it to you. I've got the story coming up.
Starting today, 130 new laws go into effect, including access to vaccines and purchasing fireworks.
What those 2 new laws may mean to you and your family ahead.
And a fugitive wanted in a double murder in Tennessee is caught here in Jacksonville, now behind bars, thanks to a quick-witted hotel clerk who's also a police dispatcher. I'll have her exclusive interview after the break.